Good day! Sa video na ito, let us discuss briefly vectors wherein we're going to add and subtract vectors using the parallelogram method. Okay, so we have here the examples. Okay, this is for adding vectors. We have a plus b. I have here the vector a and we have here vector b. And their sum, we're going to call that the R or the resultant vector. Okay, and so how to add those vectors, okay, using the parallelogram method. Okay, so first thing to do is to draw parallel lines. Definitely, kaya nga siya tinag na parallelogram. Okay, you are going to make a parallelogram. Okay, para siyang kite or saranggola. Okay, now, the question here is, saan mo i-drawing yung parallel lines? Okay, so I have here vector A and vector B. You will see on the arrowhead of vector B, there's a parallel line to vector A, and then we're going to call that A prime. Okay, so you are going to draw a parallel line, okay, to the arrowhead of B, and that will be the parallel line for the vector A. Okay, that has the same length and has the same direction. Okay, so dapat same length yan. Next one is to draw a parallel line of B. Call it B prime. Saan? Doon naman sa arrowhead ni A. Okay, then kung saan mag-meet those primes. Okay, then from the origin or the starting point, okay, going to the common point kung saan nag-meet yung dalawang arrowheads ng ating prime vectors, then that would be the resultant vector. Okay, that is A plus B. Sige, let's have here another example. So let me draw here a parallel line of B doon sa arrowhead ni A. That's the same length and the same direction. Okay, nawalan ako ng tinta. And so let's make this one a broken line. So almost the same dimensional length. And then next, let us by the way, let's call that B prime. And then next line, a parallel line of A wherein the tail is located at the arrowhead of vector B. Okay, and then kung saan sila mag-meet mula sa origin, then that would be the vector R or the resultant vector. Of course, the direction from the origin going kung saan nag-meet yung dalawang prime vectors, and that is simply A plus B, that is equals to R. That is the parallelogram method, okay, in adding vectors. Now, let's proceed to subtracting vectors. So I have here an example. We have here vectors A and vectors B, and this is A and this is vector B. Okay, so in subtracting vectors, I can write this one as A minus B, wherein A minus B is the same as A plus negative B. Okay, that is equals to R. Now, this is the same as adding vectors, but the difference is that meron tayong minus dun sa B. Okay, so first thing to do is to draw a line that will represent negative B. Okay, since ito ang direction ni B, so si negative B definitely kung saan din ang origin, but in the opposite direction. That's 180 degrees from the direction of vector B. So that will be minus B. Then we can now add them. This is now negative B and this is now positive A. Okay, so again, going back to adding vectors, let us draw parallel lines for negative B and for A. So mula doon sa arrowhead ni A, okay, gagawa tayo ng straight line that will represent B prime, and B prime is the parallel line for B, for vector B, going in the same direction as minus B, same length as negative B. Okay, And then for A naman, since this is the direction of A, ayan, we're going to draw a parallel line of A wherein its tail, the tail of A prime, is located on the arrowhead of B. Okay, going the same direction as positive A has the same length. Okay, so kung saan ngayon mag-meet si negative B prime and positive A prime, then you will draw a line from the origin going to that common point. Then that would be the resultant vector R. That would be the length and that would be the direction. So let's have another example. Suppose I want to know what is that's negative A plus B. Okay, so where is R here? So natin ngayon drawing si R. So the first thing to do is to draw a line that will represent negative A. So this is the direction of positive A. So negative A is in the opposite direction of the same length. Let me see. Oops. Let me do it again. Okay, I think that is the same length A. So let's call this one negative A. Okay, now let us draw parallel lines of negative A and B. So this will be the line that is parallel to B. So let's call this one B prime. And this will be negative A prime. Okay? So where is now the resultant vector? That is from the origin up to this point. So let me draw it here. Oops. I think that's fair enough. That will represent R. And so the direction is from the origin up to this point. Okay, now as you can see here, going back in this example, this length of R is the same as the distance from the arrowheads of B and A. Okay, provided that the direction is from the arrowhead of B going to the arrowhead of A. So this R is parallel to this one. So definitely this line is parallel to this line. Okay, hindi siya gaano parallel. Okay, so and this is the direction. So this is also the same as R. So these two lines are parallel to each other. And that's how you do parallelogram method in adding and subtracting vectors.